Hey YouTube. So this is Neuro Fitness right here. And honestly, I just finished reading this book. It took me about 30 minutes. So pretty short read, but as I said in the past, I've gotten, I'm enhancing my skills with speed reading. And I think I might read another book about speed reading because hey, I can get even better. That's what I'm learning through these books is, you know, I can get better at whatever aspect of my life I want to upgrade basically. All I have to do is do it. And that's a really good mindset to have. It's called, well, there's different type of names to the mindset based on, what author or who was saying it, but it's a good mindset to have, and I think that's kind of what I'm bringing here with this channel is really a mindset of both relaxation and of greatness. You can achieve greatness too. So that's what I always say. But there's just some key aspects of the book that I want to talk about. But this guy, Raul, I don't, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but he's a pretty funny guy, honestly. The the book, it wasn't just, you know, information, which I like. It doesn't matter. Information is information, but he kind of said it in a more comedic manner. It wasn't just, anterior cingulate cortex. Oh, hey, that's insula. Oh, hey, that's prefrontal cortex. Yes. Now that I mentioned prefrontal cortex, that's the part that I thought was really funny in the beginning of the book. He said, "What part of the brain is most important?" And is and later prefrontal cortex, prefrontal cortex, and that's pretty much what I've been saying. This with some of my videos, on some of my videos, it's just pretty much the neocortex, the part of humans that evolved the most. That's basically the reason why we are today. With language perception, making decisions. With the decision making book I read, and yeah, other things too that you know I'm kind of going a little off topic, but I like this guy right here. So we're just gonna talk about some ways that you can upgrade your mental capacities and your brain strength, power, abilities, your cognitive abilities, cognitive functions. So first is when you're doing tasks like maybe such as a project or something. Take a break halfway through it, and it doesn't have to be immediately halfway through it. Like for instance, I took my break on the last question of my math homework yesterday, and I worked out, and I came back, and I solved the problem easily. But the problem wasn't hard. It just, well, I don't think that's a good example. I don't think that's a good example, but hey, it worked for me. So just take a break sometimes. And next is play. Now this is something that I've read in the past book, and I don't know if I mentioned it in one of these videos. But playing, it enhances your BDNF, which is brain derived neurotrophic factor, which aids you in learning new material. So if you don't read books like me every day, and you already are not getting enough BDNF, then hey, you could just play and get playful, and preferably do it in a social aspect, like play with other people and not play video games and things of that nature. Cause with the social aspect, it just enhances more of your brain. Honestly, like it's kind of easy to to get good brain gains. Honestly, that's the word that I've seen someone use, brain gains. But honestly, it's not hard. Like either just read books like me, exercise, or just have fun. Honestly, just have a good life. Also, get outside. And this one is one that I'm not good with because I read inside. I'm inside most of the day. Yeah, maybe one day I could try reading outside. Who knows? Maybe if the screen could get bright enough, things like that. So the next aspect I want to talk about, and this is one that honestly I'm surprised I haven't made videos on because I've actually liked this, and it's sleeping. And this is one aspect of my life which I habitually try to maintain strictly. Well, I basically maintain my whole lifestyle strictly, honestly, with with exercising, with reading, and with sleeping and eating. So I don't think I can say that, but but sleep enhances your memory for whatever you learn for the day through your hippocampus, obviously. So try and get your sleep in, and obviously it varies on your age. So like for my age group, which is I've seen it differently. Some people say 14 to 17, some say 13 to 18, and some just say the whole teen group. You, even up to maybe even 21 to get from 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And it's weird because December, while I was still 15 years old, I was getting 10 hours of sleep a night. And it wasn't like I was a sleeping person or nothing like that. It was just that my workouts was hard. I remember my workouts was hard then, and I was working out hard then, and then I was getting great sleep. Like that's the best my sleep has ever been. But right now I'm averaging about 8 hours and 30 minutes, roughly. Roughly, yes, around 8 hours and 30 minutes. So I'm still getting a good amount of sleep, but it's not the 10 hours. Like if I were to sleep 10 hours now, well, one, I don't think I would. I don't think it's possible, cause then, yeah, 10 hours. That's kind of a lot now that I think about it with my schedule. but but I was sleeping 10 hours and I was feeling great then. I remember, man, that was great. But sleep enhances your cognitive abilities. That's what I was trying to say there. So the next thing that can enhance your cognitive abilities is breathing. And this is one of the books that I've read on throughout the past few days. If I remember correctly, 2 or 3 days ago. It's called the Relaxation Response. And they talked about just mindful meditation and all the ways that it benefits us if you have any problems, such as anxiety or heart problems or just pain anywhere. And I'm not really into the meditation stuff anymore. I've tried it a few times, and it just led to me basically my body getting numb. My whole body. I like the instance I remember. I was sitting on the couch in the basement of my house, and while I was sitting on the couch, and I didn't move for like 30 minutes maybe, and my whole body just felt numb. And it really felt like I was flying because you can't feel your body. Well, I couldn't at least, and the couch was comfortable too. So who knows? Maybe I turned into a Buddhist monk. Well, I think that's a I'm stereotyping a Buddhist monk. I don't know what Buddhist monks do honestly. So let me take that back. I think I felt like I don't know, forget it, a Buddhist monk, or a god that flies. That's kind of what I felt like at the time. So actually, I've had good experiences with meditation because you get relaxed, you feel good, and obviously it boosts your creativity. What he was trying to say. And from the last book I've read, the Relaxation Response, I know it helps with a lot of other problems. So actually, I've had a good experience with meditation, but personally, I'm just not interested in it anymore. So that's but if you are, obviously you can do it. You don't have to take my word to heart. And nutrition can aid in your ability to process things better, and also to remember. And what you want to look for in nutrition is fat. And some people don't like. I don't know. Some people think that if you eat fat, that means automatically you'll get fat, but it doesn't. Fat is just it breaks down. Honestly, I forgot what the acids were called because I have taken a sports nutrition class and we learned about all the acids and things as such. I'm pretty sure it's linophobic. I'm not too sure on that actually, but there's some acids in fat that oh, the brain is made up of 60% is made up 60% of fat. So your brain basically uses all the fat that you'll eat, because because our brain does take up 20% of our calories, which is not a lot when you think about it. It's not a lot. Maybe it is actually. Who knows? Maybe for different people it is. But they mentioned in this book intermittent fasting and keto diet, or they call it the mind diet. That's another one. It was like a Mediterranean institutionalized diet, and I kind of am doing kind of like the Mediterranean diet style now. Well, not necessarily actually. Just because I eat fish 3 times a week doesn't mean that I'm doing a Mediterranean diet. But I eat fish 3 times a week. I eat honestly. I don't. We just ran out of pecans and nuts, so I don't eat that anymore. So right now I'm just eating peanut butter for my fat and also avocados. So fat is good. And I honestly I wouldn't recommend a keto diet for my instance because simply I just exercise a lot, and I'm pretty sure that leads to less energy. I don't, honestly I'm not too sure about what it leads to because I know our body adapts greatly. Like for instance, people always talk about how what diets humans are supposed to be eating based off of predicated information, and I don't believe that there's a specific diet because, well, this is what I've learned from another book, and I could talk about it now, but I could talk about it now because in that book there was a lot of other information. So with the Neanderthals, they learned how to eat through fire. Oh, sorry, not Neanderthals, Homo sapiens, early Homo sapiens. We learned how to eat through cooking our food, while the Neanderthals and other homos at the time, if I remember correctly, I know it's Homo erectus, Homo neanderthalis, and I think Homo tamen, lekman, Homo lekman. I'm not sure. Honestly, I will have to look at my notes again, but because we created fire, it allowed it first of all allowed us to cook our vegetables, so we didn't have to digest it. It didn't have to take hours to digest vegetables. It didn't have to take hours to digest all the other food. So our body adapted because first it would take hours to digest all the food, but guess what? We were still able to do it, and we were still able to get all the nutrients from it. But now in modern times, since we all cook our food, at least the majority of people do, our digestion system is used to that. It's adapted to it. So we can't really say that there's a specific type of diet that's the best because it's all adaptation. Even with even with reading, like I'm adapted to reading now. So basically, it's really all you know adaptation. So it's not really a specific one I would recommend, but obviously since our brain is 60% fat, I kind of agree that maybe we should eat more fat if we want kind of better cognitive abilities. So now we're gonna go into other ways to build your neuroplasticity. And one of these, which I actually do, is use your non-dominant hand during other things, honestly. And that could be obviously brushing your teeth, or I'm pretty sure the most popular one, which is writing with your left hand, if you're right-handed, of course. And this is something that I've been doing, recently. Well, I can't say recently. Well, yes, It's kind of weird because I don't necessarily write with my left hand anymore. I like fake write with my left hand, so I don't. I just don't have the lead on, but I write still, cause I don't wanna. Cause in the past, like I ran through a whole notebook just doing that, and honestly, I don't want to do that again. Because this notebook, I wanna. Well, I was supposed to be writing with my left hand in it actually, but I was supposed to be writing my notes down in it from books, but I just found this way easier. Instead of writing down more than 1,000 words, like I'm pretty much writing down a whole theme, which honestly is good for remembering the book. I know that it's good for if I want to remember the book, but it's also good doing this with talking to remember the book and just having the notes like this. So this is also improving my things. But use your non-dominant hand. That's important. And another thing is being bilingual or learning a new language. And this is one that, again, I don't think I'm gonna spoil this one simply because I'm reading another book right now, which they're talking about this aspect, and that's kind of I want to talk about that maybe. And next, of course, is exercise, which I already made a video about this on with Spark, and I believe exercise is great for enhancing your cognitive abilities. And lastly, which this was kind of not necessarily a funny one, but one that I didn't expect, which was not to use an online GPS while going places in your car, simply so you can remember it. And honestly, I forgot that because those parts of the brain that I remember are specifically associated with spatial location. And I know PPA, parahippocampal place area. Okay, I remember that actually. There we go. The parahippocampal place area, and there were some more areas in the brain which deal with that. But the parahippocampal place area and the SPS and the I'm pretty sure the RSC, which is the reticular cingulate cortex. Okay, I just remembered it. And the SPS, what does that stand for? Or SPS? SPS. Okay, that that one got me stumped. But reticulate cingulate cortex, reticular cingulate cortex. Excuse me. So in the parahippocampal place area, that is activated when you try to imagine yourself going through a certain area and finding the location of where a certain area is in your head, which of course aids you in will aid you in other tasks too. Like the example they gave in the book that I remember that from, which is the cognitive neuroscience textbook, is that taxi drivers have more their brain is more activated than regular civilians simply because even if they're sedentary, because they have been using their brain thoroughly and daily, because most of them don't, or some of them have GPSs, some of them don't because they like just know the city by heart. But this has been Neuro Fitness, and the meaning of this is another practical book, just like the last one I've read, is how to boost your brain, how to get a better brain, pretty much. And there's a book that I've read, which honestly I like reading the books, but there's like I said, I'm reading these books too quickly to make these videos. So maybe I don't know. I might just make a video on one of every 5 books I read instead of trying to do every one because you know it's a little hard doing making a video on every single book I read. Especially since, like, if I would have started back with all the books I've read, I would have had over 100 videos by now. And it's only been I think 80 days or around 70 days since I've been reading a lot. So it would be it would be tough to make that much videos. Honestly, I don't know how some YouTubers do it. Well, I mean, I know, it's pretty much their life, and I dedicate myself to reading and learning. So, this kind of making these videos is like, the second part of it. It's not necessarily my main objective. It's kind of also to help some people out and share this information with other people, because I think this stuff is important. But we'll get into that next. This Neuro Fitness.